Giants in the East, Packers in the North, Falcons in the South, Seahawks in the West, and the wild cards will go to Bucks and Panthers.
Wait a second. I think you just left out, maybe, I know, you had an omission. I'll let you redo that.
Okay.
You left out America's team, I think.
Giants in the East, Packers in the North, Falcons in the South, Seahawks in the West, wild cards again, drum roll, Panthers and Bucks.
Panthers and Bucks. So wait a second. So you're saying the Dallas Cowboys won't even make the playoffs? And you're going to stick by that? You're going to stand by that?
Giants in the East, Packers in the North, Falcons in the South, Seahawks in the West, wild cards are, drum roll please, Panthers and Bucks.
Panthers and Bucks. So that means that you have predicted the Dallas Cowboys will go what? Like
Can you read
7 and 9?
Don't worry about it. That's not what the question was. Can I get your picks, please, sir?
Yes. Before I state my picks, I must admit I have a slight bit of new bias, and I can't help myself. But I don't know if you saw the final edition of Hard Knocks. It was on Tuesday night. But the GM of the Bucks took a little shot at me, maybe because I took a little shot at the Bucks coaching staff after the second to last Hard Knocks last week, because I've been watching and I said, gee, as much as I love Jameis, you love Jameis, but I really love Jameis. And they are positioned to do what you're saying, to be a wild card team. I just don't know about the coaching staff. And I will throw the GM, Jason Licht, into that group because not impressive, a little high schoolish after a while. And I say, these guys are running the show. And I told you right here on this show, sitting in the seat, that I'm starting to think that the ceiling is a little lower for Jameis and company and all that new talent around him because of the coaching staff. And I'll throw Jason Licht into that. So in the final edition of Hard Knocks, and I did not see this, I just read about it, so I'm just going to read it to you. Jason Licht said this last Saturday, which was NFL Cutdown Day, and he was talking about how difficult it is. And he said, and I quote Jason Licht, the GM of the Tampa Bay Bucks you have just picked to be in the playoffs. Jason Licht says, I hate today. I would rather drive across country with Skip Bayless and no radio working and the heater stuck on and the windshield wipers stuck on and it's got the metal hitting the glass. He would rather do that, drive across country with me stuck like that in the car, than to have to cut his roster down.
Damn, Skip!
That's harsh, man. But I was harsh too, so turnabout is fair play.
That is not really good conditions. Is there a person worth doing that with on this earth?
Yeah, I met a few people.
Who?
Yeah.
I don't know them off the top of my head.
No, I can't think of anyone.
You know, Shannon would be happy with Shannon under that circumstance, right?
Yeah.
You could talk to yourself.
Well, I ain't driving cross country to begin with. so-
Exactly. Those are rough conditions.
So I admit a slight bit of bias here, but maybe not. So,
But it's good that they're watching the show.
yeah,
Thanks for watching, Jason.
We do appreciate that, Jason. My picks, unlike your picks, and I'm going to start with the NFC East, I have, obviously, the Dallas Cowboys, the defending division champs.
Surprise.
Well, I mean, why would it be surprise? They ran away with the NFC East.
They didn't run away with it.
Well, they went 13-3. They won 11 straight games.
Okay.
Well, what's not to like about that?
And they went home just like the Giants did in the first round.
All right. Well, the Giants really went home because Odell went to South Beach.
Y'all didn't really go home because you were already home. They
we
kicked
were
you out
already
your
home.
house.
So I agree with you. By default, I will let Aaron Rodgers have his division.
What you mean
I
let?
just can't make a case for anybody. I kind of like the Lions. But I don't really like the Vikings with Sam Bradford. I just can't do it.
Okay.
So I have to, by default, go Green Bay. And I tried to talk myself into a big bounce-back year for Arizona, who went 7-8-1 last year. They play the heck out of Seattle. Remember that 6-6 debacle or whatever it was? Remember the tie
And I think they beat them last. Didn't they beat them up?
Yeah, they have. They've had a pretty good recent track record. But I couldn't do it, so as much as I don't love the Seahawks, I'm still going to give them by default that division because I'm not sure about Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald at this advanced age in each career. And then I wrestle with this because Atlanta is going to have some Super Bowl hangover, and that is by far the best division in the NFC side.
Right.
And I went back and forth with all those teams. You could make a case for any of those teams winning that division if Atlanta struggles and fails. But I finally said the defense was so young last year. It was just barely coming of age for the Super Bowl. So I can't say they're going to get old because they're not going to get old. And he's got so many weapons, I can't pick against them. So I went Atlanta. That leaves very difficult choices for the wild cards. I do have enough respect for your New York Football Giants that I give them a wild card.
Okay.
And now it gets really tough. I told you, I think Adrian Peterson is going to have a shockingly good impact on the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints are going to bounce back. And in part, I was convinced by Drew Brees when I looked into his eyes at this past Super Bowl when we had him on Undisputed in Houston. And you could just see this was it for him. And he was committed to not only personally take it up a level, but that they got to get back to who they used to be, which is running it as much as they pass it. And with Mark Ingram and Adrian Peterson and Kamara, if he's in the flow of this, and he might be, I like the Saints.
AFC, I got the Patriots in the East. I got the Steelers in the North. I got the Texans in the South. I really want to flip but I won't. I got the Broncos, and I got wild cards, Raiders and Chiefs.
Broncos.
Raiders and Chiefs. Oh, so you got 3 teams coming out of that, 1 AFC.
Yeah. One team's
West.
coming out of the South. I know everybody in the AFC East is feeling good about themselves because, the Patriots are vulnerable. They're going to beat the brakes off everybody else in that division. And
Well, they're going to lose one to Miami at least.
no,
Yep.
that game's not getting canceled.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, we'll
they
bet
will
then.
lose
We'll-
the game at Miami in December. It's a night game. It's like a Monday, I think.
We'll put some dew on it.
Okay.
Put some dew on it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. You're
I don't gamble,
allergic.
but-
No, you're
Oh,
allergic
I
to dew.
can't. Yeah, you can't give me dew. I'm allergic to it.
I'm going to have dew stacked up. I mean, that whole wall going to be dew.
So, unfortunately, I do agree with your jinx pick of New England to win the division, just the way you picked New England to win the whole conference. And I'll buy Pittsburgh barely. And then it brings me to Houston. And I told you going into this season, I don't like them with Tom Savage at quarterback. And I don't understand why they are going, I guess it's Bill O'Brien. He's saying, I'm going to stick with the guy I love and know and the guy who knows our offense.
Right.
And DeAndre Hopkins said, I'm on Team Savage, which stunned me and slightly alienated me from DeAndre Hopkins because I thought it was the wrong thing to say. I love me some Deshaun Watson, and I told you he could be this year's Dak Prescott if they hand him the keys to this car. And it's a Lamborghini, man. It's waiting to fly because they are loaded everywhere but at quarterback.
Correct.
And last year they weren't loaded at quarterback, and they kind of muddled through, and then they got no chance when it matters.
Right.
Right? So I'm going to guess that they beat Jacksonville, but then they go to Cincinnati and go to New England. I'm going to guess that they stink it up so badly in those 2 places that that Deshaun Watson will start the 4th game of the year, which is the rival Titans in Houston. Big game in that division.
Yep.
Because I like the Titans. I respect the Titans. I'm a bigger Jameis fan than I am a Mariota fan, but in this case, I think Deshaun will start them on their run. And so I'm going to go Houston coming alive to win that division.
Okay.
And I already told you yesterday, I went way out. This is the most I've been out on the limb maybe in years, but I got the new Los Angeles Chargers playing in their rinky-dink high school stadium, winning the AFC West in a shocker because I love their defense and I like their offense. And that leads me to the wild cards, and I'm with you on the Raiders. I'm not with you on the Chiefs. I know what we saw last night, but I'm going to stand by my conviction. I think they're going to struggle this year. Again, what happened a year ago on opening day? It happened to be at Arrowhead. The Chargers, who were then the San Diego Chargers, led the Chiefs 27-10 in the 4th quarter. Boy, they could have been off to the races, but nope. Alex Smith bounced back, caught them, beat them in overtime, 33-27, and it launched Kansas City on a run where they went, 12-4 last year to win the division?
Yes.
Okay? And they led the NFL in takeaways, and I get all that. And we saw firepower everywhere last night. I still say Alex Smith will have some bad games. I still say I thought going in that Patrick Mahomes was positioned to start to be eased into the fray. And I think at some point we might see Patrick Mahomes this year when they struggle, and they will struggle. And unfortunately for them, they lost Eric Berry last night.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick by my gut before last night, which was I didn't have Kansas City in my AFC playoffs.
Okay, who is the other team of the wild card?
Oakland, and here we go. Another team I have a hunch on like I do the Saints, the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're going to be a wild card team because I think Joe Mixon is going to light it up for them.